are. You learn English really well. I don't know if you remember when you were there. Oh, I think you do. You were still in school when we had the Spaniards, the kids from Spain.
Jaime.
No, yeah, Jaime. No, not, was it just, no, yeah, I mean, we had Jaime, but we had the other group of Spanish people that came, like a lot of Spanish students.
They were from Rapa Nui when they went for like 2 or 3 weeks.
No, not that one. The other one. Remember all the teenagers that were there from Spain?
No, I don't remember. Maybe I wasn't there.
But their English was very good. Their English was great. They went straight to advanced because they could speak English very well, but they were not from a bilingual school. I mean, they had English in school, but they could speak very good English. Most of them, they had very good English. So it doesn't matter. Like they lived in Spain and they didn't have to speak English in school all the time, but they knew.
I think in Europe, well, Europe is advanced for everything. And I think they had this conscious about to learn more than one language because they know the world is not about one country anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything is so connected. The globalization, oh, this is so deep, but the globalization, it's making everything so connected that it's pointless to learn only one language. You need to learn actually more than two. Two is not enough. It's even not enough at this point.
That's true, yeah.
Because we need to communicate if we want to make connections. Well, the human being needs connection and the human needs to communicate with another one. So one language, not at all.
Not enough, right? You need to.
You're in the path.
It depends on what you want to do with your life. I always tell people, like when they come to me, I don't know, maybe someone I met on the street and I don't know, a friend of a friend saying, oh, I really need to learn English. And I said, oh, why is that? Oh, because everybody speaks English. And I said, not necessarily. I mean, are you ever going to use English? Do you want to live abroad? Do you want to get a job in a multinational company? No, I just want to live in my village. Okay, so you don't need to learn English. It's just about someone who wants to be global. If you want to be global, it's a good idea to learn English. I mean, you could learn, for example, Spanish. Millions of people speak Spanish. Millions and millions.
Yeah,
and millions
sure.
Spanish.
I already have it. So I need another one.
But I mean, these people could be like, it depends. Do you want to live overseas? Do you want to have an international career, or will you have to use English at work? I don't know. Maybe you're going to be a baker. Okay. Maybe you don't need to unless you like it. Not as like just because
I am a baker and I need the language. I'm
no,
not.
I mean, now you know what I mean. No, what I mean is like you're gonna have a pastry shop in Chile, okay, in a small, like in Pucón, and
yeah,
okay, but are there people here that speak English? No, but I'm just going to do it because everybody's doing. That's what I mean. Like, oh, since everybody's doing it, I need to learn. No, I mean, you need to decide why.
If everybody's doing it, it's for something. How I told you before, I think, well, maybe you're not gonna really use it for your real life, like because you're gonna be in a small village, but it's gonna help you to think in another way. If you have another language, your brain develops all the critical thinking in another way.
But is it easy to learn English? Do you think it's easy to learn the language?
No, it's never easy. I mean, actually, I have learned more Spanish studying English than in my school.
But the point is, do you think there is, because there are lots of people here in Brazil, lots of teachers. I don't know what it's like in Chile, but lots of teachers here that call themselves teachers, and they are on YouTube, and they always come with these magic pills. I have a secret method that is going to make you speak English like a native. And then it's like basically translating everything. And I'm like, oh, wow, translation. That's very useful. I'm going to be a translator.
I really think there's a few tips that can help you to be faster, but everything has an effort behind. For example, I remember when I got in the culinary school, and I had English classes and French.
Okay, nice.
And I never had French before, never ever in my life. So that was my first time. And I remember Madame, or La Madame,
Limited.
she always, I don't, I have confused. So,
Oh, me, my Spanish, my French is not great. I know a few words. I love Spanish. I love.
but the thing is, she always told us that if we want to learn faster, she encouraged us to leave the TV on during the nighttime and listen there's a specific channel of news channel in French. It's called Le Télévision.
Le Télévision.
And I remember I slept maybe 2 years sleeping with that TV on in Le Télévision. And my French is, I mean, I'm basic. I'm very beginner in French, but at least I can understand many things if I put, now I stop it for sure, but if I put the news, I can understand maybe the 50 or 60% of the news.
Wow, that's really good.
Which is a lot. When it happens, me was, oh my God, I'm not that bad. But of course I need to study because I haven't paid attention to it because I'm with the English now.
Yeah.
But if something appear in French, automatically it change and it's like, oh God, I need to come back. I need to come back English.
Yeah, but, I mean, people think that just because there is this tip, like, okay, I don't know, I've never done that. Maybe it helps, right? Maybe for some people, it depends. For other people, it might disturb their sleep. You know, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't sleep. After 2 years, I have insomnia. But it depends on the person. The thing is that that's not the only thing you need to do. Like you said, you need to read, you need to speak French, you need to try to speak the language. Like, for example, you could still be living in New Zealand and again, not knowing the language because you don't put yourself out there. You don't spread your wings. And then if you have to talk to someone and have a deep conversation, hi, do you need, what exactly do you need? Yes, no, well, that's not a conversation, you know, like.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
Try harder. Hey, you know.
Nah, yeah. Oh my God. I hate that slang at the beginning when they say, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah, right? Yeah.
Yes or no? Can you say me yes or no? But
yeah, nah. I'm like, are you speaking?
Yes or no?
Yeah. But do you think it would still help you to, for example, study English?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
like an English course, if you had, for example, the money now and you had the time, do you think would still be worth it?
It's always gonna be worth it because actually, that's I have it in mind. It's like, since you're not bilingual, when you're not native, you're always need to keep learning because there's always something that you need to fix, improve.
Exactly. So it's always good.
Always.
I remember I was advanced already after I finished my course, and I thought it wasn't enough. I wasn't happy enough. I wanted to know more and more. So I took a course for English teachers that wanted to improve their English. And I said, okay. And I loved it because I could practice a lot and I learned lots of things every week.
Yeah.
And with that, I made English part of my life. So it was an investment, you know, I made an investment and English was a priority for me. And because of that, when I moved to New Zealand, it was very easy for me to get a job as a teacher. And everybody asked me, oh, how did you get a job there? And I said, because I called the schools and I said, hi, I'm an English teacher and I'm studying here in New Zealand. Are there any, can I apply for a teaching position? Oh yeah, sure, come on over. And I did. And I was invited to teach by 6 schools. So I wasn't like a permanent teacher because I was still studying and I couldn't work full time. I was, first because of my visa and also because I had to study in the morning. And that's when the schools are open. But I would teach, I don't know, Thursdays and Fridays in the morning and in the afternoon. And it was great. So I met lots of people. Everybody knew me. Like after a year, they all knew me. They're like, oh, I know, he's the Brazilian teacher. Yes. Oh, we know him. Yes. Of course, there are other non-native English teachers in New Zealand. Many. There are many. And they do a very good job. Some people don't, but just like native English teachers too. It depends
Yeah.
if the person is a good professional or not. Like, remember Johnny? Johnny is a great teacher. And
Yeah.
English as his second language. He's from Korea, by the way, guys. Johnny is Korean. And he's amazing. He does a great job. He's an excellent,
Yeah.
super creative.
He's yeah, he's exceptional. He's
Yeah,
exceptional.
exactly. And he knows how hard it is to learn English. It's not easy. You need to be
No.
motivated. You need to make English part of your life. It should be a priority because regardless if you're whether you're living in New Zealand or not, English should be a priority. Because I've had students who've been living in New Zealand for 10 years, 7
No,
actually. They got there before me and they still didn't know how to speak the language. And I'm like,
no.
so the problem is not, it's not that you're living with Brazilians, maybe, but because you're not making an effort. You need to work hard. And they would always ask me,
Yeah.
how come your English is so good? Oh, it's not because I'm a teacher, but because before being a teacher, I was a student. But I liked it. For me, it was fun. I would watch shows in English. I was like, oh, I like watching this, or get a magazine. You know, I got lots of magazines for free where I used to study because I had a scholarship. I got 2 full scholarships to study English in Brazil. And then in one of the schools, they had this huge library, like Harry Potter style. And I would get lots of books for free, you know, and I would read on my way home and on my way to
Yeah.
school and get magazines from America, like fashion. I really liked fashion back then. So I would read the fashion magazine. It was like, oh, I like this. And then I would see the pictures. And so it was fun. There were things I
Yeah.
liked and I combined them. I remember taking you guys to the coffee shop and
Oh, I remember. I think that's the other thing. When you're learning a new language, it doesn't mean it needs to be boring. Actually, it's the opposite. As much fun as you got learning the new language, as much you learn.
exactly. But that doesn't mean you have to be lazy. I mean, you're just having
No.
fun. Oh, I'm just gonna watch movies and then I don't have to do anything else because people take these tips as rules. Like,
No.
oh, I don't need to do anything else. No, I mean, for example, we would always have a coffee on Fridays and we would talk, but still,
But still, you're correcting us. Remember this, this,
yeah,
this,
this is what you
this.
need to say. So we were socializing and
Yeah.
speaking the language. So I remember there were like 10 of you or 11. That was super fun. I think that that was the most, how do we say this? That was a big melting pot. A melting pot is like a pot. It's an expression we use to describe a mix of nationalities.
Oh.
So we had people from Chile, you, Peru, Korea, Japan, Maho, who else?
Spain.
From Brazil, Jaime,
Jaime.
Lin from China,
It was this Nikita
Benji,
from Russia.
Nikita from Russia.
The smart one
Yeah, what was her name? Sonia from Taiwan.
from
Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Yes, so there were there were around 10 to 11 nationalities in one room. Oh, Peru, right? Jimena from Peru. And it was super fun. So you had to speak English. And I remember there were times you were, for example, sitting next to Jaime or Jimena, and you try to speak Spanish, but it was like, wait. Try to
I remember
ask each other questions. It doesn't mean just because we're here having a coffee that you can't talk. We're here too. We're going to change the setting. Okay. We need another place. And we went to the movies once. Remember, we went to the movie.
That was amazing.
We watched Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody. Oh my God, such a good movie.
Yeah, and you were studying, you know. So that's what I always tell my students. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't feel under pressure when you're learning English. It should be fun, whether you're living overseas or not. Make English fun. but that doesn't mean you have to rest on your laurels. Like, oh, now I'm
No.
intermediate. I don't need to do anything else. No, get a book. Like, for example, I have this book right here. It's about slang. It's super good. And every time I
Really?
go through this book, yeah, it's all about slang.
Okay.
I go through this book, I learned some new expressions. I'm like, I didn't know this expression. And as I'm studying them, it's really funny because when I'm studying them, and after that, I'm watching a movie, I hear some of the expressions. I was like, oh, I remember learning this.
Yeah.
I
I
knew it.
remember once
Yeah.
it was in How I Met Your Mother, and someone said, "This is off the table,"
Oh,
and I
yeah,
was like,
that's true. What is
"What is off the table?" And then after research was like, "Oh, I got it. When something is like completely no, you put it off the table.
yeah,
But if you translate it, it makes no sense. Like,
and the other thing is you need to think in English when you're learning idiomatic expressions, because I always say,
yeah,
I made 2 videos about that. If you guys want to watch it, just go on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. I don't know, they're there. Basically, there is a difference between speaking English as a lingua franca and English as your second language. When you're learning English as a second language, which is your case, you are learning all the idiomatic expressions. So this is off the table. So it's like saying, I don't accept this. This is
yeah, it's like
unacceptable. But
there's no way to do it. This is not an option.
a native speaker would say, that's off the table. They would
Yeah,
say that too. I mean, both are okay.
yeah,
When you speak English as a lingua franca, you only know one way to say it. It's unacceptable, okay? Which is a complex word. It's not an easy word to use. It's a difficult word for some people, depending on where they're from, you know? And then we have the idiomatic version, which is more complex. And there are thousands of idiomatic expressions. I was thinking of buying this dictionary about idioms, and it's this big.
no, that's too much.
My
And
God.
that's really something that you need to memorize.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good for me when I'm going, like, that's what I do for a living, right? I teach. So I go through the expression, oh, okay, oh, this is interesting, you know? This book actually is just about rules, grammar rules, lots of
Yeah.
explanations. So for me, it's very useful. I used to use it a lot when I was teaching in New Zealand. It was great. So yeah, I mean, you just, when you're studying that, a teacher, the easiest way that people learn the expressions and they never use them is just translating. Oh, off the table is I don't know, how do you say no voy a aceptar algo? It's off.
No,
No,
esto no es una posibilidad.
no es una
Esto,
posibilidad. And
no,
so
olvídalo. Forget it.
exactly. And the thing is, you could still explain that in English. You can just
Yeah.
say something is not acceptable. Forget about it. And then you can give, when you know what you're doing, when you know how to teach, you would just give a very good example. Oh, let's say your husband wants to have an open relationship. Oh, that's off the table. Okay.
Yeah,
Then you're like,
it's not
oh,
even a chance. It's
there's
not
not.
even a possibility. It's not an option.
And it's not just about learning what it means. Again, you're not learning English. You're learning about the English language. That there is a difference. So now see if you can use it. Oh, off the table. Oh, it's off the table for me when people, I don't know, when my friends want to do something, you know, and then there is an example for that. But, okay, this is off the table for me in a relationship. My boyfriend going out with his girlfriends, his friends that are girls, that's off the table for me. And what else? And then,
For example, that word. I didn't know until a few weeks ago that how could I say I have a boyfriend who is not my boyfriend relationship? He's not my partner, but he's a boy who is a friend.
yeah, you could
And that
say
was
he's my
my
buddy.
mate.
He's my mate. Yes. And then people were like, oh, but mate, what does mate mean? Well, in New Zealand, we say mate. In
Yeah, I don't know.
he's my pal, he's my buddy, he's
My pal?
my
How is that?
pal, P-A-L.
P-A-L, pal.
My
Oh,
pal.
I never heard that.
Yeah, that like when we say pen pal, like, remember, I don't know when you were learning English, not in New Zealand, but maybe in Chile, they always do that with students. They ask you to write to your e-pal. So you can write a letter or maybe an email to someone who lives overseas. So it's your
Oh,
friend that lives abroad, but then you can say, but then we say e-pal, my e-pal. So pal is a friend, my pal,
oh, I don't know.
my brother, my bro, okay? It depends.
Bro.
But
Yeah.
again, when you want to learn English as a second language, you also need to know the differences. Like, am I the type of person who uses that sort of language? Like, do I use slang a lot? No, I don't. I know what it means, but that doesn't mean I'm going to use it to sound
No.
cool. Some people think that just because you're learning English,
Oh,
you sound cool. No,
I learned
it
this
depends.
slang. Uh, a guy told me, "Is that us?"
Is that
Have you
what?
heard it? Is
No,
that
what
us?
is that ass?
And I thought, what is that us? What are you talking about? And he said, he explained that it was a slang for say, "Are you king too?"
Ah, wait, but how do
So
you spell that? Are you what?
is that is that us?
Is that
Us,
ass?
like, is that us?
Is that
Yeah, I
ass?
never heard it before, and was like, oh, well, he was saying something like, oh, instead of say, for example, oh, do you want to go to the beach, or are you keen go to the beach? He said, is that us?
Oh my gosh. And you
It
know
was like,
what? Yeah, you learn every day. Depends on where the person
yeah,
comes from. Some people use weird slang, and then you're like, that other people don't. And you're like, for example, when you talk to teenagers, they use slang that you're like, what are you talking about? Is
yeah,
that Spanish? Or like, for example, if they're from Chile, and then they use some sort of slang, and you're like, what does that mean? I've never heard that. So it doesn't mean just because you speak English as your first language, Spanish as your first language, that you know all the
yeah,
words. And you're like, never heard that. What does that
yeah.
mean? When I came back to
This one is very
Brazil,
gangster.
I came back to
Yeah,
Brazil and people use a lot of slang that I don't know. Like when you are, when you, like people are going to be in a relationship and then they say chipar. And I was like, what is chipar?
what?
I don't, yeah, I have no idea what it is. I have no idea. And people use it on TV too. And I was like, what is that? I've never heard that. I have no idea. I don't know what it means. Maybe it's from
Oh,
English and they adapted it. And I was like, no idea. So
no.
thanks. Yeah, and well, I guess that was really good. And I forgot to ask you the most important question. What did you like
Just,
most about studying with me?
well, the most important and what I liked the most was the fact that we'd never had um, a routine, a boring routine. It was always a fun way to learn. So we could gossiping, we could have fun,
Yeah.
and while we were having fun, I was learning.
Yes, exactly. We were talking about this before I started
Yeah,
recording that I don't like teaching boring things. For example,
no,
I don't have anything against course books, because they are useful. For example, this book I really like, and I'm like, oh, it's great.
yeah,
I learned a lot of things. But I remember that using the same things for me was quite boring. I was like, oh my gosh, if I'm
no,
bored, my students will be too. So it depends on the person. Some people like teaching like that, but I was like, let's just go out and do something different. So I would plan
yeah,
that. I was like, I have an idea. We could go somewhere else and do something fun. I even remember when I was teaching a group and we were talking about smells and senses, a sensorial experience. And then I went to Countdown. I bought a lot of things. I brought spices. So cinnamon, I don't know, some like candy that was like gummy bears, all sorts of things. And then I put people on blindfolds and I said, okay, we're going to have a sensorial experience. So I had to taste and smell stuff and guess what it was. And they were like, this is really weird. So they had to try every single thing. because I was like, oh, this is a cool idea. I said, this is going to be
Yeah.
fun. I want to do it. And I mean, that was my idea. I know that there were lots of teachers that would never do that. So it depends on
Yeah.
the person. It depends on the teacher. Like Johnny was
And
super creative, right? He was super
for
creative.
example, if you do that, you can learn how to express the texture, how to describe the feeling, how to describe the flavor. So it's many things involved in one thing that you don't even realize, but it's a funny way. It's so, and your brain will remember it because it has an experience behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to sum up this interview, we're going to still talk after I stop recording, but what would you like to say to people that want to learn English?
Well, if you want to do it, that's the most important. I think all the things after that, it will become by itself. Like if you are keen to do it, you will find anything, any opportunity to learn. But if you don't want to, that won't happen.
Preach. Well done. I loved it. That's how I think. It's really good because if you want to learn it, if you are in Brazil, if you're in Chile, it doesn't matter. You just have to focus. Okay, this is my priority. And again, don't think about the future. Oh, I want to be advanced. Can you just start the journey? Okay, buy the ticket and then sit on the wagon. Okay, and then you're ready to travel. All right. So wait a minute. Hold your horses, and if you don't have a horse, hold your ponies. Okay, hold your ponies. Wait. I used to say that to students all the time. They were like,
hold your
ponies. Hold your they're like, my ponies. I said, yeah.
It's like you're not good enough, so you have a pony instead of horse.
Exactly. So like, hold your ponies, okay? Hold your ponies because you are, there is no way that you're going to learn English by cutting corners. Oh, okay, let me find, I have a solution. You can get tips. That's okay. Of course, tips are always great, but they are tips. And then you have to apply them and they can help you somehow. But that doesn't mean they're going to solve all your problems. It's just, again, try to make the best out of it. I had great teachers who never lived overseas. And I was like, wow, they speak very good English. And I was like, your English is very good. Like they knew a lot of things and it doesn't really matter. And also make an investment, right? Invest, pay for a course.
Invest time, energy, money.
I love this interview. Okay, guys, if you want to learn more about Romina, okay, you can go to her Instagram, Roma Lobos, right? And
You
find
can
out about
her
her adventures in New Zealand. Okay.
Oh my God.
All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another interview. Okay. Bye.
Awesome.